us today. Yeah, thank you, Benita. I should have said, go ahead. Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We would like to go ahead and do another round of integration review questions as far as how it applies to the integrations with EVA. Talk about the things that we know aren't changing. Go ahead and review some of the items that we've already discussed, make sure, see if anybody has any questions. Talk about some of the items that'll be new that we know that are changing, and just kind of have a discussion as we go around. We will do the talk through, and then everybody is free. This is an open session. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. If we don't know the answer to the question, we will certainly get back to you as quickly as we can. And just, yeah, good. Let's have a good open discussion here. So let me see. Let me go on to the next page, and let's see. There we go. So just wanted to, I guess, kind of start off here with reviewing some of the things that we have talked about previously. Make sure that everybody understands what is we're talking about here. Do you want to go ahead, Maria, and talk through some of these items?
Yeah, I'm just going to review what we talked about the last time we met. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. For those people who were not in the meeting or could not attend the meeting, one of the items to discuss is PCNCL. This only applies to those agencies that are integrating requisitions, and I think it's mostly VCCS colleges. So we're no longer available since the requisition integration takes place after the last approval in Evalua. Again, this only applies to requisitions without purchase order that is denied or changed after it has been approved by the ERP. If you're only integrating POs, this does not apply to you. You don't have to worry about it. Item number 2 is requisition prefix changing from PR to REQ. And I have an example. If it's PR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it will start with REQ. And I know the example I gave is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for both of them, but during the conversion, your rec may have a different number from the existing number, from your PR number. Item number 3, purchase orders prefix that starts with POB, DO, EP, QQ will change to PO. And I gave an example. Right now, your prefixes are EP or DO, and everything will say PO, regardless of what prefix you have currently. Some of the XML placeholders for those data fields, the items that will no longer be available in the new system, it will be replaced with a null value. So we are not removing or changing or renaming the existing tags or nodes. So we want to make sure that we do not break your process, so we are not changing the format of the XML. Joel, can you scroll down? This is a new item that came to our attention. Requisition and PO version numbers. Currently, if you have a version, it will say like for requisition, it would be PR, say 123-V3 or V4. They are dropping the V. The new system will not have the V. So it will just be like -3, -3, -6. And I hope this is not going to cause an issue on your end. So again, we're removing the V prefix. The only thing that's not changing, PCO numbering scheme that starts with PCO, say 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to remain, the prefix is going to remain PCO. Are there any questions? or concerns?
Questions just about that or questions about integration in general?
Integration in general.
So I guess I'll kick it off, Maria, something that I haven't heard addressed. It looks, this is Sean, by the way. I know you know that, but for anybody else who may be listening, from the VCCS. And we've noticed that it appears that the Pcard alias number is missing from Ivalua in the Pcard setup. And I know that, you know, from looking at our XML files, I know that that's the only piece of Pcard information that gets transmitted to our ERP. So we're wondering how that's going to be handled.
I'm gonna have to pass this information along to the people who are responsible for setting up iValua for configuration. I don't know, but I will pass this information along.
Hey, Maria, this is
Uh-huh.
Shane, and hi,
Uh-huh.
Sean, and hi, Maria, and hi,
Hi.
everybody. Just real quick, so if you're looking into UAT and you're not seeing that would be correct. The Pcard encryption, kind of the program and the technology that we're going to use for that hadn't even been put in yet. We just talked about that this morning, and I think that's coming in with the build this week. So I don't know if Lisa's on this call. I don't know that she is. It's either the build that we're going to get tonight or the build that we're going to get a week from tonight. So we don't even have that in yet. And you know, then from there there'll probably be more. The data fields will be a little bit more clear in how that's going to happen.
Okay, so I guess we'll be patient in the hopes that will be resolved. Because the way it stands now with the integration into PeopleSoft, which we use, if the Pcard alias is no longer a thing, right? If we can no longer enter that into the Pcard setup in Ivalua, then we're going to have to do some crosswalk or something on our end.
So Shane, I would just add that Ivalua, the field we're putting in for Pcard, there is a similar concept to the alias. I don't know if we call it the word alias, but in the XML that we send to integration, it would need to be labeled as alias. So I think on the technical side, we're aware that field is required, and we're going to need to put data in that field for you guys, if that makes sense.
Thanks, Doug. That's helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Hey, Maria, this is Dan Rogerson from ODU. I do have a question. I was a few minutes late getting to the meeting, but I don't know, so this may have been covered. But a couple of weeks back, there was discussion saying that, you know, that you would be bringing over the previous 2 years of change orders, so that integrating it into external applications like we do with the banner application that we've got at our university. Will those order numbers stay the same, or are they going to be changed when they bring them over as for that historical information?
No, the numbers will change, and I can let Doug talk about the process. He's talking about the converted orders that we bring into the new system. Those numbers will not be the same.
Right. Every converted order will get a new number in Ivalua.
Okay.
The data warehouse values are not going to change though.
Will there be a crosswalk table or something so we can match this up with our system on our end, so that we know what these orders, which order goes to what historical order?
Okay, Dan, can I explain this? Currently, you're downloading from Eva, right?
Correct. We get a daily feed from Eva to bring into our administrative system to track receiving, create invoices, and process payments against those invoices.
Right. So when you create a PO in Eva, the following day, you get a download of the POs created in Eva the previous day.
Right.
So for those converted orders, unless you make a change order, you're never gonna see anything in those files for those old POs, unless you create a change order.
Right. And
Right.
that's one of my concerns. Like if we were to do a change order after January 1, we would see a change order come across, but how would we associate that with a previous order that was in the old system?
Okay,
Maria,
my
didn't-
understanding, go ahead, Doug.
Sorry, that was Sean. I remember hearing on the last meeting, I don't know if that's changed, but I thought that for anything that was converted, the XML would include the original PO from Ariba.
Yeah, that's correct, Sean, but then he doesn't do integration. He does interface.
Oh,
By
I'm
the
sorry.
way, Dan, integrations meeting is Wednesday, but I can answer this.
Oh, okay.
So-
Go ahead, Doug.
I was going to say, so hopefully when you create the order and then you'll download the latest, and then we're going to upgrade to the new system overnight. So there won't be any, like, you won't have downloaded any like leftover orders, right? We're going to convert the POs. And then I think, Maria, we're going to stop change orders inside iValua. So you won't have to reference the older orders. And for interface, those, Joel and Maria, I don't know if it's official or what, you guys can send to the holding tank directly with the old numbers. So you won't have to crosswalk to the new POs.
No, then he does not import into, he's talking about the auto export file that has the EP
Okay.
numbers currently.
Right.
So he's not importing into EVA. Yeah.
Okay. So the order export file will have the old number if you do like a cancellation or something to it. We'll replace the new iValua PO. We'll put the old PO in that spot, and then we're going to append the iValua, the new purchase order number to the end of the order export file.
And then I'm working on the new record layout for the auto export file or for import and export. As soon as I finish with the changes, I am sending you a new record layout that has the new field that they're going to add at the end of the RH record and the VH record.
Okay. And you said that will contain the original order, so it'll make it easier for us to associate the two.
Correct. Mhm.
Okay. And will that be talked about in Wednesday's meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So a similar question, we get a file that's a receiving file at Radford. And if someone goes into EVA after this order transitions, what order number is going to come over for those pre-existing orders in that receiving file?
You will have both. Again, there's new record layout that I'm going to send. On the receiving file, you have a record, we reference to it as VH. That VH record, at the very end, we're going to have the old EP number for those converted orders. Hello, does that answer your question?
That helps. When will we be able to see a sample of the XML and any of these records?
That's a good question.
I mean, sample wise, Maria, I think we can, we're hoping to get here in the next week or two. I mean, we could certainly send out an example from our test region. I don't know when it's going to be available in the UAT region for you guys to create your own orders and see it. But if a sample would help, I think I can send Maria and Joel a sample that they can pass along.
Okay. That sounds good.
Hi, this is Kimberly Lawrence at the VCCS. I just was hoping maybe you could clarify just a little more about, you said that during the conversion, the prefix on the Rex is going to be changing from PR to REQ. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit? I'm trying to picture what the impact might be to us on that.
Well, when we send you the vendor, the XML, both for the vendor and the requisition number starts with PR, right? PR and some sequence number. In the new system, instead of PR and some sequence number, it's going to say REQ and then some sequence number. Both on the requisition.
Are we saying the number's not going to change though, just that prefix to it?
No, the numbers will change.
The numbers always change. It's automatically generated. And And I don't think this is a problem, right, Sean? We've already talked about this. It's because they're just labeling.
Yeah, it doesn't, we don't seem to have any rules built into our ERP that will cause a problem with that. None that I've found so far.
Yeah, for example, PR 1234 may become PR 0234.
Well, it'll become REC, right? REQ 0.
REQ, right, yeah. Thank you, Sean.
Maria or whoever, are we still going to have the option for bypass integration? Currently, we have a checkbox, which then what happens is, it bypass, we don't actually send it through the integration to
Right,
AIS.
yes, yes. We are still gonna have that, right, Doug or Shane?
I don't know. It's a more of a functional question. But I mean, if it's still needed by the community, I can make sure I add a note and go hunt it down.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's needed for everyone who does integration.
Okay. I will ask around and see.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Sean, this is Michelle. Did you already ask about the list of data fields that are going to be null? Or Maria, you mentioned that in the earlier slide. Do you know what the list of fields are that will be a null value?
No, at this point, I do not have a complete list of that information. We are working with CGI, so when I have the information, I will pass it along.
Thanks.
We are in the process of developing the changes, making the changes that's required. And as we test, we will know more about those null values.
Okay.
This is Dennis. Yeah, I heard earlier we talked about giving some examples of the XML out to people who had questions. Shane, as early and as structured as we can, we'd love to get samples so that we can start our detailed integration testing. We don't know what we don't know yet, and we all know the time's getting very compressed. So it'd be nice to start getting some samples. We can start testing. We can start flagging these things more systematically. So I know the timing gun you're under, but the sooner we can get something, the better.
And I want to say, when we do get samples of the XML, it's not going to have your data specific for your entity. So using those samples may not be very helpful. Yeah.
I think the most important piece will be, once we know which data fields will be null, then we'll be able to test, we'll be able to look at our integration rules and test whether any of those cause issues.
Right.
And I'm assuming the files will be coming in from a different server. So we would need the new IP addresses so we can have enough time to update our ACLs.
No, they will not be coming from a different server. We have the new system, right? And then we have BizTalk, which is the middleware. The IP address for BizTalk is not changing. The URLs are not changing. So you don't need any of that. The information is going to remain the same.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Maria, this is Sean again. One more question. When will the old EVA UAT be going away, or will it? Will both of them be able to send integrations through?
Shane, Joel, you guys.
The UAT region will go away at the end of the year. So the UAT region, existing region today, will go away just prior to us going live with the new application.
Okay.
And there'll be dual environments. Once we're able to get you up and running in the new environment, the new test region, we'll certainly make that available to everybody to begin testing.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Concerns?
Over there.
Well, definitely thank everybody today for their time and joining the session today. Certainly as you start thinking about these things that we've proposed today and talked about today, if you have questions, please reach out. Chances are if you have a question, somebody else is maybe thinking the exact same thing. So please reach out if anything concerning questions. We'll do our best to answer it. If we don't know the answers, we will find the answers and get it to you as soon as possible. And again, thanks everybody for your time today. We will get another one of these scheduled out to be able to give you any other kind of updates. If anybody has any additional questions, we'll get another one of these meetings scheduled out. I'd like to probably get this within 2 weeks. So we expect another invite out for that here very shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
All right,
good
thanks
day.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.